Hi guys, Penny Rose Journals, how you doing? Okay, we are back with our big boho journal, and I have pulled out a bunch more pages and made a bunch more pages. Yeah, now we are going to work on, well, maybe putting those into signatures and binding them. So, yeah, not a lot to say about that. I'm just going to, start arranging things the way I like them, and then we will think about, grabbing something for the spine and doing all those things that need to be done to get your signatures together and into a signature block. So, anyway, I'll tell you more about it as we go. So that's the signature block, essentially, not that it's sewn together. And this is the cover. This is the cover that I've made for this journal. It's mostly sari silk scraps and ribbon, and some appliques off of a wedding dress. So, yeah, it's quite an eclectic sort of little cover there, all sorts of colours going on. But yeah, that's kind of what boho means to me. So. This it's made out of an old book with a piece of this stuff. What is this stuff? This stuff is lever arch file cover. Yeah, there's a piece of that I've used for the external spine to build that up, and now I'm going to cut a piece and use that for the internal spine as well. So I'll cut a piece that's slightly narrower than the external spine so that it doesn't impede the covers from closing, and then I will cover it with a piece of fabric, put holes in it, and start sewing signatures to it. So I like the lever arch folder, particularly on a bigger journal like this. It's very sturdy. Yeah, there's no sort of chance it's going to fold up on you or collapse in any way. So yeah, it's very, 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 very strong. So that's what I use. Lever arch holders are easy to find. They're often in my local area. There's often somebody giving away a pile, usually an office or just private citizens just getting rid of things that they no longer need, end of school year, that sort of thing. So I pick them up quite often. I don't have to pick them up every time I see them because there's always tons. So yeah, I have a drawer full of this cardboard because I cut them up as I get them because they're difficult to store. They're quite large, so I cut the covers off the spines and just store the covers. So anyway, that's cut to size, and I'll find a piece of fabric that I would like to use. I usually use a black or a cream piece of fabric. This time I'm going to use something with a bit of pattern on it, just because it's going into a boho journal, and I don't care what colour everything is. Everything can be whatever colour it wants. This is just a super quick template, just to make it easy for me to know where to put the holes in both my spine and in my signatures. So what I'll do is just measure and draw 4 lines up and down, and measure and draw 3 lines across. And that will give me the spots I need to put the holes for my sewing to go through. So I'm just using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I could use a 5 on this. It is a pretty big book, but I decided to go with 3 anyway. I'm using some very, very steady string, and like I say, the spine is like simply indestructible, so I'm not too worried about it. I always make my little templates the same from the top or the bottom. that way it just makes it super simple when you're putting your holes in your signatures. It doesn't matter which end of this is the top of the template or the bottom. Everything's equally distant from each other, so it doesn't matter if I put it upside down. If you don't measure that, yeah, you have to really take note that you don't put the holes in the wrong spot. So just a little tip I learned as I went along. It's much easier to make your template so that everything's equidistant from each other than try and work out what you're going to do now that you've put your holes for your signature up the wrong way. So tip of the day. Okay, and now I'm going to go about popping some holes in my signatures. So I'm going to clamp my pages together. I usually put a clamp on either end, and then I'm just going to slip that template inside, position it where I want it, and I will be just poking the holes through them. So simple as that. I'll do that with each of them, and then I will come back and we'll sew them. Now this is going to be somewhat of an ordeal. This is thick fabric. Well, the fabric's not particularly thick, but the board is thick, the needle is thick, the thread is thick, and I have nice fat thick signatures. So I'm going to get my pliers out to give me a little bit more leverage here, so it ends up probably looking a bit like a bit rougher than it needs to be. Some spots I can get in and out of without a hassle, but yeah, I will definitely be using my pliers somewhere along the way. It's always handy to have a few tools around when you're doing this sort of thing, because yeah, it can get a bit difficult to get through, you know, a lot of paper at once with a thick thread. So yeah. Anyway, you've seen me sewing signatures before. We'll sew this one in, and then I'll skip through the rest and we'll just go to the end and have a look at our signature block. Okay, there she is, and here's the cover, and this is how she fits into her cover. So, yeah, we've got that far. Oh, I just dropped all my stuff all over my desk. What a mess. This is a little pot that I keep up on my shelf, and all my bits of glue go in it that I pick off the top of my my glue bottle there. So, yeah. I keep them. Don't ask me why. No idea. I need to throw them away. I keep on knocking them over onto my desk, and yeah, it is a nuisance. But yeah, for some reason I'm attached to them. I need help. Send help. Anyway, we've got our signature block together, and it fits nicely inside our cover. So yeah, time to get it stuck in there, I think. Before I do that, I will cover my spine again, the spine of the signature block, with this cheesecloth. I like to do that. It just looks nice sticking out the top and bottom of the book, a bit of a header and footer for my little spine there. And it also makes sure everything is super secure on the back of my spine. None of the knots will come undone, none of the threads will come loose. Everything is then, you know, not only sewn in securely, it's stuck flat as well with this piece of fabric stuck over it. So yeah, it won't be going anywhere. So I have done that on camera before. I normally, especially with a book this size, will do it between my knees, so you won't get to see this bit. There is other videos on my channel where you can see that. I have flattened a book out on the desk and done it so that you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, this time, no. Okay, I am just now going around and doing my final checks for the cover. I'll cut off any loose fabric like that and stick down any little loose bits that I find, just to make sure that everything is properly secure before I put my signature block in and then think about the inside, front and back cover cards. So, yep, just a little bit of busy work to make sure everything is nice and properly secured. And now we're ready to think about gluing this signature in. Now this is a big job. It requires a lot of glue and a lot of squeezing, and yeah. But anyway, we will get it done. I've left the fabric nice and long on this one. Often I won't use quite so much fabric to put a spine in, but this is a particularly large book, so I have left a lot of fabric to stick down to the cover, so that there is absolutely no chance of this ever sort of working its way free from its own cover. So first of all, I'm just going to glue down these little sort of side pieces so that they're a little bit secured to themselves, basically. And then we'll set about gluing this down into the book. So what I normally do is I will position the signature block where I want it, and then I will put some glue on the cover and then fold the cover over onto the signature block to sort of grab a hold of it, and then I will lay it down and smooth it out. I don't always glue it all the way to the end immediately. I will do this side, and then I will flip my book over and do the other side. And then once both sides are done and I'm positive, whilst my glue is still a bit tacky, that it is in the correct position, then I'll go back and finish gluing it down so that it's thoroughly glued down. But yeah, I like to have that little bit of wiggle room so I can, you know, remove it and re-glue it if need be. You've got to work kind of fast, but it's worth doing properly. So anyway, we'll finish fiddling around with the cover and then we'll get this signature glued in. And there we have it. We have our signature block firmly stuck into our cover. So yeah, she's all good to go. I will leave this for a few hours now just to set up properly. I'm sure it won't, it'll take a few minutes, but I will let it sit here for quite a few hours before I come back. Our next job will be the front and back inside cover cards to cover up all this mess. Alright guys, thanks very much for spending your time with me today. I appreciate your company as always. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I will see you again next time. Bye!